Opportunity to meet here this evening. Thank you for each and every individual that's here. Just pray for your hedge of protection upon this community and pray for your guidance and your wisdom, not just within this room, but within every home and throughout this community and in every neighborhood. Just help us to seek your will and to help us to be examples of your love to our neighbors and to one another. We just thank you for that. We thank you for your guidance and wisdom tonight to help us make decisions that definitely are in the best interest of the community and reflect your heart. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Roll call.
Brandon Elmore. Bob Wade. Jason Brewer. Tim Heiss. Not here. Tia Frias.
Here.
All right. The trust you've had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Yes?
There was a page missing in the one that was emailed to us, and I'm sorry I didn't respond by email on that. I was looking at it last night.
Which one are you referencing by chance?
If you look at the bottom of the first page of, I'm sorry, the second page, where it says common the top, first page of our minutes, it ends with city manager Steve, and then it starts with after some discussion. So there's a page, I think, missing between those two.
Jan, can you follow him by chance?
I'm following what you're saying, but yeah, I don't have that.
It sounded weird. I thought like Mr. Listening to the question.
I'll have to. Go get it.
Okay. Well, obviously, we don't want to make a motion before you guys have that page, so why don't we suspend that for the moment? And we have no presenters. Department reports, Saturday night, from everything I witnessed at least, looked like it was a great success. So I want to give a shout out and thanks to everyone who made that possible at the car show downtown. It looked like a good turnout. I don't know what the expectations were, but from the surface it looked good. Department heads, Chief, you wanted to speak, I believe.
Yeah, do a little presentation. You guys will give me the time. Sorry, technical. Yeah. So what I'm here to talk to you guys today about is we have a real need for animal control. We've had some outside agencies helping us out, but it's time that Union City grows itself and does its own thing. And the reason for that is we have a really small kennel. We don't have a lot of hands on deck to help us take care of animals. In fact, we can only keep them 3 days. What we're running into, though, is that surrounding kennels become full, and we have nowhere to go with our dogs. We also have a lot of loose cats and stuff like that in town that we'd like to start addressing. So we've partnered with a new 501c, we haven't partnered, but we've spoken with a new 501c3 that is willing to help us out. But we have to do our part first. And in order to do that, I have a little presentation here, just to kind of give you guys a heads up of what it's going to take, and maybe generate some ideas from council. You may not like what I have, but you may have some ideas that we can grow from. What we really want to do, though, we have to be able to take care of the dogs ourselves because, like I said, it's becoming too much for the police department and the little bitty kennel that we have to take care of. Plus, there are some other rules, like I said, with cats. I kind of stole a video off the internet to kind of grab some attention, so let's see if I can make stuff work. not my video, one I stole off the internet, but it here. That definitely involves all of you. So, as you can see, our goal is to keeping our best friends safe. I'm presenting this with myself, the Union City Police Department, and like I said, some new friends, forever friends. Notice the spelling. These pictures up here are actually some dogs that we've had at our kennels, and we've been lucky enough that we've been able to either find their owners, or they've been adopted out, or Winchester has actually helped us in getting them adopted out. There's some very strict rules on adopting animals out. When it's involved in the city, they have to have all their shots, they have to be spayed and neutered, things like that. So thank goodness for Winchester and some surrounding agencies, we were able to get that done. But we need more space, like I said. Just a little Walt Disney quote there. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. That's why I'm here today. It's time to start doing something. Like I said, some of the people that helped us in the past are taking different paths and are not able to help us anymore. So it's on us. I want to introduce you guys. This year, it's a brand new 501c3. No, I'm not on that board. I'm not part of their program. I have spoke with them in several meetings, and we've discussed some ideas and ways that they can help us. Forever Friends' vision is to care for lost or stray pets in need by offering safe refuge, providing medical care, and facilitating adoptions. Their mission is to provide resources for the rescue of lost or abandoned animals in our community, providing food, shelter, and vet care to those in need. Promoting spay and neutering to end the overpopulation, which that's the biggest thing, and that's all over the country. But for some reason in the last year to 2 years, we've seen a really bad uptick in Union City, and especially with stray cats. And I'm not just talking about dogs here, we're talking about animals in general, but of course what most cities take care of are the dogs and cats. We've not been able to do anything with cats. I think it was 5-6 years ago we did some, can't remember, neuter scooter, where we were able to collect some cats and neuter scooter spayed and neutered them for us. Currently, that's our facility. That's how big it is. We can only keep them 3 days. If we get more than 2 dogs, we have to stop. We can't get more dogs. We have nowhere to keep them if we don't get them out in that 3 days. We don't euthanize, we don't kill animals or anything like that. So we need help. As you can see, that's part of our issues right there. We don't have any space. We need more room for care. Long-term care for animals in need, that's especially, we have trouble with the cost on that. It's just, that's not a line item in our budget. So, we need help with volunteers for care and feeding, watering, and walking them, and vet care, which the Forever Friends are going to be able to help us out with. And I'll explain that to you here in just a minute. And most importantly is adoption. You've got to have friends to help you adopt out animals. A partnership that works, and I feel like there's 3 of us that are involved. That's the City of Union City, or you guys, and our Board of Works, and all of our citizens, the Police Department, and Forever Friends. And up here I've listed some of the things that each of us do currently, and that list could probably get even longer with each one of them. But what's the police department do? We answer calls of service for loose dogs. We help injured animals. I think it was about 1 year to 2 years ago, we had an injured animal we had to take to an urgent care. The city paid for that. I don't know if you guys have ever had to go to urgent care with animals, but it costs a lot of money. We try to return the animals to the owners, but like I said, I hate to give a percentage out, and it's just a rough guess. But in May, as of May, I think we collected 10 dogs. 3 of them we were able to get to Winchester for adoption. And that included some help from friends in the community with, like I said, getting the shots and getting them spayed and neutered. A lot of times in the city of Union City, we are able to locate their owners through Facebook and different social media sites and stuff like that. So it's usually a happy ending. But like I said, here recently, we had an animal that was, I want to say, given to us, a bad relationship breakup, something such as that. We ended up with, in fact, this happened twice. We ended up with the animal for over 2 weeks because the animal shelter in Winchester was full. We called Fort Wayne, they couldn't take them. We called Dark County, they couldn't handle them. Everybody's full. What we did through our investigation was able to find the other half of that relationship, and they were able to take the dog. So it was a happy ending there. But we're just getting lucky. We're not always going to get lucky. And it's getting to a point where, like I said, we have to do something. What we're asking from the city of Union City, and I'll try to give you guys some rough estimates here in a little bit. Again, something to think about, not asking for answers tonight, but supply the space needed. And there is a building that already exists. I'll show you here in just a minute. But that building we need help fixing it up. And I do think it's the city's responsibility. Because by state statute, we have to have animal control. Unless we have a humane society in the city limits that helps us care for these animals and stuff like that, we have to have animal control. The facilities are going to need water, electric. Like I said, the building's there itself is just basically a shell, and some other improvements. Forever Friends, how can they help us out in their partnership? They'll help with volunteer care. Like I said, I've talked to them on several occasions, and we've already got tentacles out. We've got vets on board. We've got people with vets that work for them that are on board to help us care for them. And we've got volunteers willing to help care for those animals. Jamie, by no means, could do this. That's all he'd get done. So we have to have that. They'll help facilitate vet care, like I said, first shots, emergency vet care. And the biggest thing is they'll be able to help, and it's theirs. What they do with it is on them, but they'll have funding through grants to help our agency, to help other agencies, and things such as that. On the left here is our current facilities. On the right, some of you may be familiar with that building. It's out at the shooting range. It's basically our shoot house out at the wastewater plant. It's just a shell. We don't really utilize that shell enough, or that building enough. We could utilize it better as keeping animals, for animal control. Now, as you can see, the outside kind of looks good, but there is some stuff that needs done on the inside, such as putting up some framework for a couple rooms, things like that, and then also some kennels. Our friends at Forever Friends have come up with a really basic floor plan here, and this is what it would look like inside. Up at the top, you see this would be our kennels, and those kennels would extend to the outside. We have bathroom, office, foyer, meet and greet area, storage, and a place for our cats. And it's very basic. You know, we're not asking for chandeliers, we're not asking for fancy furniture, but things that have to be done inside the building. It has to be heated and cooled, so it's going to need to have all that stuff done to it. We're also going to need water and electric run to it. This is just going into some of the estimates that we've already gotten. This is for those kennels, and basically it's 6 kennels. Like I said, they extend outside these, including some cat kennels. And for that, it would be $3,898. And an estimated cost with that and what needs done to the building, anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. Does it all have to be done at once? Preferably, but we can build on things. And like I said, there's a lot of brain power here, and we're getting it out to the community. But I do believe this building, as far as the city's concerned, is our best bet, and improving upon it to help. There are many people out there, such as Forever Friends, that are always on board to help us. In summary, There's no cost too great to help those in need, even those that are furry in nature. We know that many of these furry friends are more than just pets to their families, so when they need our help, we owe it to our community to be the best we can. And I think building this facility, or improving upon what already exists, is doing the best we can. We are at a critical point. We're just too many dogs at one time away from a disaster. So I ask that you keep in mind what I've talked to you guys about tonight, making those improvements and not waiting forever to do so. We have to get started, and we have to get started quick. I'm not saying maybe you guys don't agree with the 30,000, 40,000. Like I said, we'd start out small and we come up with some other ideas, some other spots, or something like that. This is an idea, but something has to happen. And you have help, and you have friends from the community willing to help you. Again, these are some more pictures of some of the dogs that we've taken down below. I feel like the SPSCA, what I said, that commercial, I was going to play that tonight, but I was like, I don't tear dirt. But thank you for your time, and please keep this at the top of your list. And either shoot me an email if you have some ideas, or let me know that we can move forward. Okay? Any questions or anything right now?
I got a quick question. So, would you be able to take a fraction of that 30, 40,000 and just get something started to take the stress off you guys, your current situation?
Yes, but then what's that say down the road? So, I mean, we could piecemeal it together, yes, sure. So the answer to your question is yes, we could build on stuff. But like I said, a building is there, and that's the preferable spot. Shoot me some ideas on what you're thinking,
Okay.
and we'll see if it facilitates everything that we're talking about,
Okay.
the city's needs.
I don't know if Kobe or Steve, if you guys would know, is there any grants available for something like this?
That's where the 501c3 would be able to help, but again, that's not the city's grants.
But, I mean, that's something the city could apply for.
That's something that Steve could possibly, I hate to give him more homework, but maybe something Steve could look into or know something more about.
That would be specific around a project like this, yeah.
Correct. And I don't believe that you would have a rough time at all getting a grant for something such as this.
Right. Yeah, that's where my mind initially went to.
Okay.
Two questions. First one is normally around July 4th or there's a lot of concern about the fireworks and dogs like freaking out and just really having a hard time. To have a shelter right next to the shooting range, is that going to affect? Is the shooting going to affect?
My guess that is what's going to happen, Tito, is that we won't shoot there, or eventually won't. Once that part got going, because you're absolutely right, what percussion does to the ears of animals and things such as that. We've talked to Randolph County. We can do our training there with them. We've also spoke to, I think it's Hub City Sportsman. For a small fee, I think it's $25 a month. We're allowed to go out there and shoot. We can't do moving shoots or shoot the long guns, but we can still qualify out there. In fact, the last time we qualified, that's where we qualified at.
What was my other question? Oh yeah, I don't know. We're talking about potential partnerships here. Did you at all contact K.I.S.S? I mean, that's sort of the long-standing nonprofit. They do fundraisers and stuff.
Right. So what I said, like I said at the beginning, we all have certain paths that we take in life, and some of those paths take us in different directions. And at this point, that's not a path that's available to us. Again, I'm here to present what we need for the city. And as far as a partnership goes, I think this is our best bet. And I keep calling it a partnership. It's not a partnership in a business sense. It's a partnership in a community sense.
Sure.
So if there's other organizations out there that want to come aboard, more than welcome to talk to them. We're an open book.
Have you gotten some idea of how much that they could come up with grants to go towards your building?
Yeah, that's what we was just discussing. So we'll have to apply and see what grants are out there.
Did they give you some idea with some other projects that they've done, or?
No, it's a brand new 501c3, so they're just starting out.
What is a 501c3?
I'm sorry, guys, if you don't mind, could you stand and so everybody knows who's talking?
I'm Danny Pearsall. I was in Winchester about 20 years ago.
Awesome.
And so I did do some business over here with Union City. I'm now living in a little town of Edgerton, Indiana. If you pull it up on your Google and you look at it, it's a community or neighborhood, and I live on the other side of the tracks, and I was told I was on the good side of the tracks. So we have 3 businesses, and we just gained one. We have a mill, our church, and we have an elevator, and that's it.
Oh, thank
And
you.
we could basically, if you take one of your little neighborhoods, that is how big Edgerton is right now. Back in 1920, it was hit by a tornado and really just tore the town apart, and it really didn't grow anywhere from there. And it's literally right on the Ohio-Indiana line. I mean, I'm 1 block from the state line road basically is what it is. I look over, I see the windmills right there as you're going down 30. You see them? Those are in my front yard. My backyard, I got a beautiful sunset.
Thank you. And yours, sir?
I'm Kenny Stump, and I'm just here, and I'm gonna help you out with that somehow.
Thank you so much, sir.
Me
We
and
appreciate
my
it.
wife.
One other thing I'd like to throw out there, I did mention that Winchester has a shelter, but also, as I said, their shelter got full twice now within a year, where they've had to reach out to places such as Fort Wayne and other bigger agencies to come and take their dogs for them. So we still have to get loose animals, vicious animals, and like I said, we need that facility. As you said, in growing, I would still love to utilize this building. Maybe we don't do so many rooms at one time or so many kennels at one time, but I believe this is where we should start. That's just my opinion. But
So the 30 or 40 that you're talking here, I mean, those are initial like startup costs. Do you imagine or envision that there would be like ongoing needs to support the facility itself, such as utility expenses and that type of thing?
there will be, and that would be on the city, so to speak, not to be blunt, but yes, that is a city building. That would be a city organization. That would be the city's thing. Now, there may be other organizations out there, such as Forever Friends, that are, like I said, would come aboard and maybe help out with donations or cost or food, kennels, things such as that, vet care, just throwing out their ideas and getting partnerships going to help out with the growth of it.
I'm just wondering, Jan, if this is something that we need to like begin to think about towards budgeting for. I mean, on an annual basis. I mean, something, line item if there's not one already there for
Yeah,
it.
the budget is,
What kind of ordinances do you have now that, like, I know that in the town I grew up in, we had a kennel and it was by the water plant,
Yes.
which was Alexandria, Indiana. And I don't know if that's where they're doing it now or not, but they had a real nice kennel. But they also had a fee for those dogs that were always getting out. It's kind of like you got tagged with 10 or 20 bucks because, again, they were being captured, they were having to be fed and whatever. And then if it was a dog,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Go
to
ahead.
cut you off, I'm so sorry. But we do have similar ordinances, and again, if it's what we typically do is, somebody loses their dog, and we have to go get it, and we post it on our Facebook, they come up, we give the dog back. We don't normally typically charge a kennel fee on the first time, but like you said, if it's a continuous problem, then we'll start charging or citing them under the ordinances.
that might be a way to help finance a kind of backdoor finance.
What we're running into though, and the biggest issue is, we're not finding owners. Like I said, the majority of our dogs we're having to take away to other places or adopt them out and things like that. We've had several citizens step up. One lady actually took on a brother and sister pair for us and kept them probably for 2 to 3 weeks, I believe, and then we got those back. And she's even offered again with the recent one we had, but we just got lucky on Friday and found the owner, the second owner to us.
So do you have a adoption fee that you're working with also? When
That
dogs
is,
adopt them?
That is something that we'll framework and come up with. There are very specific state laws when it comes to adoption from a city.
Because I know that just with, it's kind of like, I remember in the adoption, you pay for the shots, you pay for the neutering, or the spading, and that kind of thing to be able to adopt that animal.
You have to do that. We can't adopt an animal out without that happening. And that's where we've had some friends throughout the community step up and pay for those.
But I'm talking about is, again, to say I wanted to adopt it, I have to pay for that to be able to adopt it.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may be something we can incorporate, yes, sir.
So I have a question, Joshua Kimbrell. With all the fairs and events we do, like in Randolph County in general, would it be like an idea to get together with the community and the surrounding areas with the shelters and set up like an adoption tent where the animals that have already been shot, neutered, spayed, and all that stuff, where we just say, hey, we have an overload, we're adopting them out for free, we've already paid for the shots and everything like that. Would that be a possibility, like at Mardi Gras and stuff like that, or your guys' fairs here and stuff, to set up a tent like that?
That's a very, very good idea. However, timing becomes an issue for us. Yes, we could hold those events every year.
Like, even if our kennels aren't full at the time, contact Fort Wayne and say, hey, if you wanna bring like 10
Right.
animals down,
Yep.
set up.
Perfect. Yep. Any other questions or concerns? Again, we're getting to a point, as you could see in our kennel, we can hold 2 dogs. And when we had the pair, brother and sister, we also had another one over here, and then we were still collecting more. And then Winchester got full, surrounding agencies got full. So it's not something we can sit on for a very long time.
Can we take it as a takeaway, maybe, Jan, to look to see where maybe some funds would come from within the current budget? I mean, where we could even
Yeah,
pull that money
he's
from?
not asking for an answer tonight, right? So
No. I'm looking for ideas on how we can accomplish this.
Yeah.
I was hoping with what I presented tonight, you could see a direction we would like to go.
Sure.
And ultimately, that's where I would like to be. It's out in the country, it's away from other houses, it's not in an inside. The last dog we had, oh my Lord, he would not stop barking when you let him out of the box. But that's what dogs do, and especially when you're in a busy spot, dogs are gonna start barking. So, you know, we need them out there where they don't become a nuisance themselves just by us collecting.
And as you get more dogs, you're gonna have more barking. I've been into places where there's kennels been, and you can tell when they start letting them outside. One starts, they all start. It's like they gotta talk to each other.
And like I said, I couldn't tell you the numerous complaints on cats. There are some in my neighborhood that, I mean, my front porch and my mulch smells like urine, and it's not from me. Okay? So, I'm just telling you,
We got
there's
problems.
a lot of cats. And when I did the neuter scooter this last time, we collected 35 cats. Of those 35 cats, over 70% of them was people that had fed them and they wanted me to bring them back to that area. They never let them in their house, they just like to feed them and have them around. So they weren't true feral cats.
When you guys did that, it helped tremendously. And now, like you said, the past
Yep.
year or two in my neighborhood, you can go down my alley and see 12, 15 plus cats every
Yep.
day on my porch, peeing on the house,
It's a
destroying
problem.
our furniture.
It is a problem. Any other questions or anything?
Thank you so much. We'll have something ready, and we'll have this as an agenda item on September 12th.
Thank you so much for your time and.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
It's okay. Linda Wilcox. Time is really of the essence because it's gonna get cold soon. And the kennel that we have is very small, and there is no way we're gonna be able to accommodate the number of dogs that we're gonna see when it gets cold, so. And there are, as Kobe said, a lot of people who are more than willing to be a part of this project. So the city isn't gonna have to carry it alone. There will be a lot of support.
It's good. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. You guys should have the missing page from the minutes on the, at your disposal, or at your, for your review. With that being said, are there any questions or comments?
We have a moment to have a look at.
Oh, you guys have it? Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval. Of the consent agenda.
I'll move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
We have a first, we have a second.
I'll say.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Consent agenda approved as presented. Skipping back down into department reports. Jan. All right. Council members, Tito, we'll start with you.
Yes, so we do have a couple of buildings that are in the process of demolition in downtown, and soon we'll have another couple. I've had some people ask if they could have some wood or mementos, something from that building, I guess as collector's items. I told one of them to contact Steve, but another asked whether there are any architectural salvage companies working to save any particular woodwork, doors or fixtures, radios, or et cetera, that might be of interest, historical interest.
We did have several things taken out of each structure of historical relevance, I guess if you will.
We've been doing that over the last 18 months.
Yeah, so, but I don't know if there's, as far as anybody grabbing anything from the pile, that would have to be, I'm sure, cleared with the.
No, that's gonna be a hard no. Anything beyond the fence is gonna
Because
be.
of safety. And unfortunately, it probably puts the engineering company in liability.
All right, good.
Great question.
So I've begun to hear some concern about speeding on South Street. And one case in particular, the individual was not identified to me, but apparently this is a person who's unidentified, that has violated the law by passing the school bus while it stopped to pick up kids for school at the Maple Leaf Apartments. Okay, so on South Street, Maple Leaf Apartments. So aside from other speed control measures, could we maybe have the idea that was sort of proffered to me was, could we have a police officer maybe strategically located in the area to make sure people can obey the speed limit and the stop for the bus as required by law, like at the time when school, I don't know, before school starts in the morning.
Do we know what time frame the bus is generally done? Do we have an approximate time frame?
No, that was in the evening. It was in the evening. Yeah. I was there, I seen it happen.
So evening, so the school lets out at like 3:15. I mean, the bus would be going by there, I don't know, 3:30 to 4, maybe.
Right around
Very,
3:30.
yeah.
Do the buses, do they have video cameras to catch?
Yeah, they
Yes,
do.
That's what I
They
thought.
did, you get the picture of it, the vehicle.
Okay, good. All right.
I also chewed the kid out too.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Very good. Also, we've noticed a new speed bump on Division, and I was asked why that was put there. I said, we've raised it a number of times. That cars speed a lot on Division, and there are children that live in that area, so for safety. But is there any other reason?
It was customer, it was citizen driven, and the speed bump's temporary. We're actually looking at putting in 2 stop signs down there, which I know are not gonna be popular, but it's unfortunate we're a few bad apples and spoil the bunch, because we only have 2 officers, you know, we have them down there periodically to patrol, but they can't obviously be there 24/7. And so, and for safety of the citizens, we've had multiple requests from citizens down there that live down there to do something, so.
Okay.
This is the effort to slow it up.
Very good. So a lot of people have asked me about Harder Park and the soccer fields there. We know that the people that play soccer have been using the school grounds in the back area there. But I know that the intention, I think, was that we were going to level the fields and sort of improve it so we could have multiple games possibly going on simultaneously. But we see sort of a field-sized area that has a lot of, I don't know, looks like they brought in dirt or something, and there's all kinds of weeds growing. What can we have an update on what's going on or what the plan is?
The plan was what was done created some additional problems that were not anticipated. So we have hired a survey company to come in and shoot the elevation, and K.I.S.S Consulting is going to be producing basically the elevation and the plan for building out and dealing with all the water. The water that we created ponding with had trouble getting away. So in order to effectively do it, we're waiting on those documents so that we do it once and we're not doing it by a trial and error basis.
So it's an issue about water accumulation and not being able to drain. Okay. I noticed that, the triangular area between, what is that, Union City Pike and the western part, of the western road within Harder Park, right? The road goes this way and the soccer fields are back there. And then it comes back and meets in this triangular area with Union City Pike. In that little triangular area, there are some younger trees. It looks like, I don't know if they were planted recently or when, but they're much younger. I don't recall how many there are, maybe, 12 or 16. And it looks like they're in 2 parallel roads. Several of those seem to have some kind of a disease. It's too early for the leaves to start falling off, but the leaves are black, which, I just find rare. I think it doesn't look right to me. So I'm wondering if we could have that looked at.
Yeah, we
wouldn't
can
want
have
that to affect the rest of the trees in the park.
Yeah, if they're hard maples,
It's in
sometimes
the
maples will
triangle,
do
or
that. so-
It's in the triangle.
Okay.
But I think those are mostly oaks through there, so. I've seen
And so
maples
it's,
do
where
that.
where we have that structure where the lights are,
Mhm.
that it's right near
Yeah,
that
I
area.
know exactly where
Yeah.
you're at.
Okay.
I thought those were oaks. So yeah, we can have Boston take a look.
Okay. Then we have Roots Deli. Do we have an estimated opening date for Roots Deli on Columbus Street?
Darby has that, so I don't know what his date
Okay.
is.
So the reason I'm asking is because I've had more, a few people complain about the fact that we've closed off that alley. For them, it was a convenience. They used it often, and I actually agree with closing it off. I think we provide areas where people can sit outside during the warmer months, and have whatever the Roots will be selling, and maybe a coffee. I've had ice cream there, and the fruit treats from Abby's Crazy Snacks. But they also complain that it's sort of a gathering area, and that they want to avoid any possible nasty things happening, and so I don't want to use the term that they used.
The area's under video surveillance, and that will be increased as the deli opens up and there's more consistent activity there. I think what people are perceiving as gathering will be curtailed.
As a specific event occur?
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, it's supposed to be a gathering spot.
Right.
So,
I don't want to offend anybody. The term that the person used was hoodlums.
Oh, mercy.
That there may be
Wow.
that kind of
That's
people,
not-
gathering there, and so that presents an issue for the surrounding It's just, but it's under surveillance. I think that resolves the problem. I'll just do one more thing. The governor's mansion. I know several months ago the city purchased the governor's mansion on the corner of Howard and Pearl. There is an open window on top. I know we want to do like a bed and breakfast or something. We want to develop that. I mean, we didn't buy it just to buy it.
Right.
But I mean, if there's an open window on top, like animals could go in and out, water could accumulate in there. And there's also, that's on the Pearl Street side. On the Howard Street side, there's something open on the bottom, so actually people could get in and out.
Like there's a basement window.
Yes.
We can get that addressed, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's important. So that's all I had. Thank you.
No, thank you. Tim?
The only thing I have is just, got a chance to, when I got back in town Saturday evening, attend part of the car show and cruise in and great event and everything, but one of the things that I also took from that was, got a couple of compliments about, how much help the city was in helping put that together, and I think that encourages more events when people find that they're not alone. They're not on their own to do this all by themselves. They've got a lot of assistance. So for not very much expense, I think we're doing the right thing by encouraging that and helping out where we can. So much appreciated. Thanks to all the guys that helped. Thanks to Steve for being responsive and saying what do you need and helping make it happen. So I think they were very appreciative that they put on a great event.
Yeah, Mother Nature held out.
And
for at
Mother
least a
Nature
period.
helped a bit at the right time.
Good deal. Anything else?
No, that's all I've got.
I appreciate it. Jason?
I mean, I could add up to that also, the car show. I mean, a lot of great feedback. I think we had 80 cars, what I heard up there, cool cars. The flamethrowers, shooting flames out the exhaust was pretty cool. Had the burnout competition. One guy caught his brakes on fire. So that was pretty impressive. But car's okay, he's okay, so it's all good. That was quite the spectacle. The Cars and Coffee on the 13th of this month, we had almost 20 people show up, so it's doubled since our first event. It's from 9 to 11. I left about 11:30, and there were still about a dozen cars sitting there and people hanging out in that area, chatting, drinking coffee, eating cinnamon rolls. So that was good to see. This past Saturday, a friend and I were at the coffee shop, and a gentleman approached us, and he said he lived here about 25 years ago, and he moved to Cincinnati. And I think he's in Greenville now, but I could be wrong on that. But he was his first time back in 25 years, and he asked, "Are you guys from Union City?" We said, "Yeah." So he stood there for about 5 minutes, and he just couldn't believe the progress the town has made. He's like, "When did this happen? When did this happen?" We told him, and it's amazing. And we said, "Well, here's a list of things you should go take a lap through town and check out before you leave." And he said, "I'll do that." So he was really super impressed. It was good to hear that.
I appreciate you sharing that. That's awesome. Bob?
All I had was there was no area planning commission meeting this month. So other than that, I'll echo the sentiments from Tim and Jason on the fine work uptown, and that's all I got.
Brandon?
I had two items, and actually Tito kind of touched on both of them. The first one was about the speed bumps on Division. I've had a couple of people ask about that when we've had conversations here at council that maybe they're not cost effective to put in, but it seems like we've kind of found a way to do that a little bit more cost effectively. So, and just concerns about them in general, and people don't like them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a fan of them either.
Yeah.
but
yeah. The other one was about the soccer program, soccer fields being at the school this year. I've had numerous coaches and parents concerned about the program out at the school just not going well this year. Very limited in terms of just the times on the field that we've had. It's been compounded by the fact that the Cardinal team has actually been here in town, and they're taking the fields up on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so that limits it even further. Like last Thursday, for example, the the junior high football team was on the field until 6:30. The Cardinal team wanted the field from 6 to I think 8 or 9, and there were 4 Union City teams out there basically on a field that was designed for 5 and 6 year olds, trying to get some field time, and just numerous I think parents and coaches just frustrated honestly that it's just not going all that well this year. So. And I know, Steve, people have talked to you about it. I know Jeanette's had conversations, the Cardinal coaches had conversations, but I don't know what we can do. Maybe to...
Yeah, we're definitely dealing with growing pains. At no point in time 3 years ago did we prepare for the concept of having 1,200 people playing soccer in this community, and so because of that, we're having to deal with the growing pains. We have been formally approached to look at building soccer out at the school. The school sees great value in playing soccer there. We're still in conversation with that, and it's very early. We're looking at some additional plans for the west end of the park now because of that conversation. The school's getting ready to begin a construction project that would, in theory, help facilitate bathroom facilities that would be accessible from the outside as part of their construction project. So building bathrooms at the school is going to be a lot more cost effective than trying to build them on the west end of the park where we have no city services whatsoever. The bathrooms on the west end of the park are basically on a septic system that really needs to be done away with. So I see value there, but the reality is we're literally playing 1,200 people, adults and youth, soccer on 2 fields and some rolling hills. So yes, we definitely need to address that. It's growing pains. We will get through this. We've had some scheduling mix-ups with the school. They changed some of the times of their practices and didn't clearly convey that back to the soccer people and vice versa. So we just have to patiently navigate all those conversations, and I think we'll make it better.
There's still, I think, a couple field size spaces with even nets out there for soccer and at the heart of park. I mean, there's a part that's unusable, but there's still a lot of space and the nets.
Yeah, the youth and Cardinal are both just trying to keep it all together. So when the youth are out there practicing, they're all literally practicing in roughly the same space and giving everybody exactly the same advantages. I think there are some possibilities that we could add some more space. They've talked about adding some more space even at the school, but we just haven't physically done that yet. And
Yeah, I'm wondering
probably as fall soccer for the youth progresses, we'll probably look at adding an additional field out there, probably behind the baseball and softball.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest, is that, you know, there seems to be room there, and if we just had a couple more goals to put out there.
Yeah,
Because the
and
frustrating thing is, like, the junior high football team is practicing on the field with a soccer goal, and we've got 4 or 5 other teams without the ability to practice with a goal.
coincidentally, additional soccer goals were ordered back in June, and because of the pandemic and the supply chain issues, they're not here yet. So
really?
I have additional resources inbound. I'm just physically waiting on them to arrive.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I know you've heard it already. You've heard the frustration from others. You know, not me personally, but just wanted to make sure that people's concerns are heard and heard publicly. So.
Anything else?
So thank you for the response.
Anything else, Brendan?
No, I'm good.
Oh.
Sorry.
Steve? You
I don't have anything for this part of the meeting.
Okay. Old business, ordinance number 2022-11, which is the salary ordinance amendment. This is on the second reading. There's been no changes to it since the first reading approval. Do we have any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion for approval on second reading.
I've got a little input to put in with it.
I'm sorry, would you raise your hand?
I did, but you was looking.
Oh, sorry.
I heard the initial setup that everybody was talking about giving out raises to everybody because you have this one man who's no longer there anymore. Now, sometime, it seems like you're gonna have to replace this man. If you give everybody raises, you're gonna have to come up with his salary again. What I was thinking of is an alternative. You have all the people now, you offer them a chance to get overtime. You take that salary that you're not using now to pay that overtime. Now you take, when you get the other man in, you don't have to come up with the money again to cover his salary, it's already there. It's just overtime's not available anymore. Just a thought.
All right. Any questions?
Well, I'll address just that we've already increased overtime or utilized we have a budget for overtime that we really hadn't utilized very much because we hadn't worked it much, but we've done more of that in recent times, so
Yeah,
they
but
had.
what your ordinance sounds is you're gonna use
But-
this salary to give
Well,
raises.
we're not using the entire cost, and we also have some other solutions to work around that, so we've kind of thought through that. We've got some other solutions coming down the pike that will address that. Or how to address that, so, yeah. But that's a good question. It's the obvious question there that's there, is how you gotta do that.
Yeah, and I think we talked through that at last meeting. I mean, we touched upon that very issue, I mean, in discussion.
But yeah,
Any other questions? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll move we accept ordinance 2022-11 salary ordinance amendment on the second reading by title only.
We have a first, we have a second.
I'll second.
Jan, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Leahy.
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Tito Frias.
Yes.
And for new business, we have the adoption of the Union City Library budget, and we do have Mr. Larry here, and Alex, if you don't mind, I'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your time. On your last meeting, you were presented with our budget regarding binding review. You are the agency that covers the library according to the state of Indiana. This evening, as part of a two-part system presented by the state, you were presented the last time. This is the time that you would approve it. With your signature, we get to go forward with Jan's assistance, put it up on Gateway, have our budget for next year, and start serving. Thank you. Oh, the form you've already, Tim, I don't know that you saw the
Yeah.
form.
Yeah,
But it's going to, we'll need the form back after you
Yeah.
sign, so that Jan can, again, assist us with putting the paperwork forward. Thank you. Any questions? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have some questions. So I went on the www.budgetnotices.indiana.gov, and it turns out, I mean, new to me, guys, I'm kind of neophyte at this. I don't feel too knowledgeable about tax law and whatever, but Union City Public Library has property tax levy authority in Union City. What does that mean? What I think it means is that Union City has the authority to impose a tax. The Randolph Eastern School Corporation is listed there as well, so they have the authority to impose a tax, and the library is listed there as having the authority to impose a tax.
How does that work is what you're wondering. If we wanted to build a new library or a new wing or create a parking lot, then we would, issue bonds, raise taxes. But since we're not planning that, we're not gonna be.
Very good.
applying for
And so it
new
just-
taxes, but yes.
So it's interesting to me, like,
Yeah, it
I don't
is.
recall that we have any authority to determine what the school's levy is, and so I'm wondering why we're reviewing the library's levy.
There was a recent
Discuss that.
change.
There's a recent change. State Bill 410 of March, maybe 2020, when they decided that all public libraries in the state were going to be required, if they didn't already have an agency such as yourselves to review budgets that they were required to. Up until that point, we were independent, as so many others are, and we're just abiding by the regulations, that's all.
And so I do have another few questions. Your estimated civil max levy is $214,629. And your tax cap credit estimate is $113,990. Why does the max, the estimated civil max levy exceed the property tax cap credit? I don't even know if that's an appropriate question, but I just don't understand that. So, wondering if Karen has.
We don't either, we don't get that.
It's done for us on our behalf by the state.
Okay, next question, and just see if we can. If your budget estimate is just under 190,000, right? 189,790.
Right.
Am I understand? So that's the budget estimate, 189,790. But it looks like you're asking for over 214,000. Is that
Yeah,
right?
we don't get that. I mean, we don't get that
We don't
amount.
get that
We
amount.
only get the 189.
Oh, okay. Okay, good.
We don't get the other, no. Not at all. That's just how they calculate it so that they can add in or subtract out the property tax caps and some other credits and
Okay.
things. And that's calculated by the state. That's
Okay,
not-
and that solves my other question, so
Yeah,
I'll stop
I
there.
know. They have some different kind of math. Definitely.
Okay, thank you.
The tax cap, the tax cap throws some confusion.
Yeah, it changes.
Difficult.
Well, if there are no other questions, I would entertain a motion for the adoption.
So I will move that we adopt the budget as presented of the Unicity Public Library.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Brandon, so Jan, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Leahy,
Yes.
Jason Brewer.
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Freeze.
Yes.
All right. The next one, the facade grant, 209. Barb Gentry, did you spearheading this one?
Yep.
Okay.
So you should have had in your packets a facade grant for 209 North Columbia Street. She is wanting to paint and update the exterior of the trim of the building. She has provided multiple estimates. She's vetted them all out. So basically what we're doing is we're asking for council approval. The project total estimate was $3877.11. The facade grant, 50% contribution would be $1938.55. This would be facade grant number 3 for the year. I don't believe any of them hit the maximum $10,000 amount, so in theory we're still well below what council had projected to spend on helping our building owners maintain the exterior of their buildings.
Any questions?
The work has not been done. She has ordered the work. We wouldn't be cutting the check until the work was done, so, as all the other ones, so, just to clarify that.
I move that we accept and approve the facade grant in the amount of $1,938.55 to Barb Gentry.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Bob?
Yep.
Jan, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Leahy,
Yes.
Jason Brewer,
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Freeze.
Yes.
All right, now ordinance number 2022-10, which is the ordinance to amend chapter 97 regarding boats and vehicles, et cetera, on the first reading. I was looking that up. I did send the email to Ryan.
I had a conversation with him.
Okay, and you wanna address that? Cause I don't see a change in the,
There is no need for change, it needs to be or.
it needs to be or, okay.
Correct.
Did he elaborate as to why?
Because if it's and, then all of those things have to be occurring in
Okay.
order for there to
Okay.
be anything
Yeah.
cited or removed.
So just a clarification, excuse me, clarification question on that. So if, let me read, well, the point you were just referring to is number 9.
Correct.
Under the definition for junk or inoperable vehicle. And I'm gonna skip where it needs skipped and then go directly, just to see if it follows, right? Any boat, motorized or unmotorized. I'm gonna skip it. Is left uncovered in the open on private property more than 5 days. Right? So a motorized, it could be operable, right? If it's left uncovered, that means that it is considered inoperable just because it's not covered.
There's more things to that,
Yeah.
what they're identifying.
Does not have a valid license.
Right, but when you have or, it's either or, right? So this seems confusing. Any boat, motorized or unmotorized, whether or not on a trailer, which is discarded, wrecked, ruined, scrapped, or dismantled, and does not have a valid license, or is left uncovered in the open. Okay, so it has to be a discarded, wrecked, ruined, scrapped, or dismantled. Yes?
Yeah, that's the or there. It still has to be in derelict condition, basically.
Okay. Right. And let's see, if it has a valid license, even if it's inoperable, I mean, it's considered.
Maybe that's the key
it's
right
okay.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's okay.
yeah.
But if it's uncovered, well, so it's all these other things: discarded, wrecked, ruined, scrapped, or dismantled. It does not have a valid license, or is left uncovered.
That uncovered part of it is probably what's throwing you off.
Yeah.
Probably when that ordinance was first set up, whoever would set it up was thinking about the boats that are out there that may still be being used, but not being maintained on a regular basis, to where they're being looked at, collect water. When you collect water, now you've got a mosquito issue.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably all a part of that. And then also with the fiberglass boats, during the winter time, if they collect the water, then they become nothing but junk.
Yeah.
And then, so that's probably where those things are coming into your ordinance. In the thought of making it, started out originally. So you need to watch out for, just
They end up with
uncover.
trees growing in them too, so.
Some people have very nice boats that they use on a regular basis that they don't cover because, guess what, we just brought it home this weekend, we're taking it out next week. But the uncovered boat is sitting there, that is collecting water
Yeah.
and is potentially
Thank you.
just deteriorating.
Okay.
So your wording probably has something to do with that.
Okay, and I think we clarified for the citizens who had come in and others whose sort of concerns I expressed here, that in fact it's not something that boom automatically happens. I mean, you start to repair your own car, as many people do. It's not going to, this is not going to fall on you. You can
Yeah,
fix
and actually, we're not changing, the ordinance as it has been, in applying to like automobiles or anything, has been in place since like 2006. So that hasn't been a case of, they haven't had that This isn't something new that's changing, it's just
Right.
adding the boats basically is what
Okay.
it's doing. So,
Any other questions or comments? If not, oh, I'm sorry.
Are you guys worried about a Fourth Amendment violation dealing with stuff on somebody's own private property? To try to regulate anything on somebody's own private property is a gray area for a Fourth Amendment violation.
not if it's out in the public view, so.
Even if it's in the public view, it's still on private property.
I know these are gleaned from other ordinances from other communities that.
This
have
ordinance has
vetted,
been
so
in place, like I say, this
we
ordinance has
don't-
been in place since at least 2006. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it predates that or not.
Yeah, we haven't created our own, we actually gleaned these from other communities, so.
But not in public view, that's not an issue.
And it's been vetted as well by lawyers and
Sometimes
stuff.
it's just, you know,
It just hasn't been challenged.
in having those ordinances, it's a matter of having a conversation with someone to whether or not, like a fiberglass boat is very hard to get rid of. An aluminum boat, hey, we just take it to the scrapyard.
Right, yeah.
You know, a fiberglass boat, you burn it, you still have leftover debris,
Yeah.
but it's not something that you
Cut
can
up
just
and-
cut up and just
Yeah.
do something with.
Any other questions or comments from the council? I would entertain a motion if so willing.
I'll move we accept ordinance 2022-10, ordinance to amend chapter 97, junk boat vehicles, et cetera, on the first reading by title only.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Bob, Jan, if you would, roll call vote.
Brandon Elmore,
Yes.
Bob Lay.
Yes.
Jason Brewer,
Yes.
Tim Heiss.
Yes.
Peter Frias.
Yes.
All right. Visitors wishing to address the council, please stand, state your name and address and nature of business. And you- Oh, I'm sorry.
I interrupt. Gentlemen, I need to leave, I gotta go out of town. I don't know where that slip of paper
It's
is
down
that
here.
you signed.
Steve.
Is it this?
I'm required
Yeah.
to take that with me.
Is this
to present to
referred-
the state.
I didn't sign this. Is this referred to the library one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So have to
Oh, yeah,
sign
those are
it.
the emails. Okay. How can I remember mine? Your one's, mine is a weird color. Wouldn't want that sign pink.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you again.
Stealing your
Happy
daughter's
to-
pens again.
Couldn't find mine.
Yeah, wishing to address council, please stand, state your name, address, and nature of business. And Brandon, I think you've got the.
Joshua Kimbrough, before I start, I'll pass this out. I'm glad we talked about the Fourth Amendment, but I'm not starting yet, so I'm just giving you guys some pre-information. This is the Fourth Amendment and the summary overview of the court's decision with the Fourth Amendment. Good read for everybody to know. Steve, I didn't get you one because you're not on the council, so it's nothing against you, Mayor. It's for you. So, I'll start now. The Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches or seizures. Seizures, searches, that stuff goes into fines. What you guys were just talking about in that previous ordinance. Now, something I want to clarify, you guys can put an ordinance up on the board for you guys to vote on that says no fat guys with red shirts are allowed in the building. You guys can vote and pass that. It will be legal for you guys to do that. Every ordinance is until it's challenged. So just because it's been on the book for 10, 20 years does not make it constitutional. What makes it constitutional and legal is once it goes to a federal court and gets approved or disapproved by them, or state appeals or something like that. That's basically how it works. So here I have chapter 158, the rental registration and inspection program. I talked briefly about this the last time at the meeting, and you guys came up with some new rules at the last meeting that you guys will have a back and forth and discussion to make sure there's satisfied results with everything. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about this and see what you guys feel about it. One of the main things here, you guys are claiming with this ordinance, and I don't know how many of you guys know this ordinance, it was passed on 2017. So I don't know how many of you guys have been on the board since then. but I've had some of your citizens reach out to me. You guys are finding people $500 a day who do not comply with this ordinance you guys have here to allow your inspection people into their home. Now, I'll tell you this much. Kobe, the police here in Union City, even the FBI cannot enter anybody's home without a warrant or permission from the homeowner. The city is not above that. Here in this ordinance, you guys are threatening your citizens that if you do not grant or gain access into their homes, you can charge them $500. You can go get an inspection warrant and threaten them in this ordinance that if they don't comply, that you can go get an inspection warrant. Well, one of the main things here in the inspection warrant underneath the IC code 367916 states one of the main things you need, usually I have everything highlighted, I'm sorry, is probable cause. That's one of the key factors that has to be present in obtaining an inspection warrant. It's probable cause. One of the things you guys have here in your ordinance is the water bill's name changed. The owner or whoever's name the water bill goes into has changed. That's one of your guys' probable cause to initiate this inspection warrant. And to do this, and you guys have it in here where you guys single out things like,
Time's up.
Oh, sorry.
The time didn't go off, but yeah, the time is up.
Yeah, so sorry.
that's alright. But anyways, you guys got exemption rules to routine inspection where any citizen here can be inspected by the city. But you guys exempt
Yeah, Josh, I'm sorry.
manage real estate managed by real estate managers or anything like that of that nature. You guys exclude them because I don't know why they get special privilege from the city, but this needs to be addressed, and I'd really like to see some feedback and maybe a little bit of time and effort if you guys actually look into it. One of you guys reach back out to me and discuss it. I've already sat down with your city attorney briefly talking about this situation, and it's a lawsuit for the city that's just waiting.
Do you have anything,
Did I what?
Bob, were you wanting to?
No, his 3 minutes are up, I'm leaving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't have
Thank
anything
you.
to say.
Anybody else wishing to address council?
What happened to that rule that you guys talked about last week?
Yeah, no, there will. One of them will, yeah, absolutely, follow up and, absolutely.
It's a follow-up, it's not
It's a follow-up with email and things
Well,
like that.
last time you guys asked the lady if you answered the questions properly for this new rule. I mean, is there any concern? Does anybody want the number? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Is it even gonna be looked into? Because this is the big key issue. Now, I've had a lot of people message me about certain things going on, but this has been the most consistent messages I have gotten from citizens in Union City. I wanna say there's been over 30 people. A couple of them a lot stronger than others with how they're coming on, approaching me with it. But this is a big concern with a majority of them. Some of them are, hey, a cop threw a rapper out the window, can you go bust his balls, basically. This one actually holds a little bit of weight. I've looked into it, and I don't wanna see a city get sued over any of this stuff. And that's where I'm trying to bring it to you guys first, maybe to look over it, speak with your city attorney, and look at the legality of it all. This personally doesn't affect me. I don't live here. You guys haven't tried to inspect my house, but it is something that, like I said, I don't want to see your city get sued over something of this nature.
Appreciate it.
So if you guys want the number, you guys can feel free to ask me or whatever you guys want.
We're well aware of the
What
ordinance
number?
I mean, it's 158, yeah.
This is I pulled this off amlegal.com if you want to copy that down up at the top. I don't have a copy for you guys. It's actually pretty thick and
And this is the Union City ordinance, you're saying?
yes, this is from amlegal.com.
Sure.
You got it, Tito.
I think this is, like we said, this has been vetted. It's based on state statute. Other municipalities have this.
That said, I have heard complaints as well, and I'd just like to remind the citizens of Union City that you have elected officials here. We are open to receiving your comments and your concerns, and we take our job seriously. We've taken an oath, all of us, to do our due diligence and to follow up with citizen concerns. And so I'm telling you that I am doing this. I as well met recently with someone who is not a citizen of Union City, but who owns properties in Union City and who has concerns. And so I'm going to see if they're, I'm literally going to study this with him. So thank you for raising the issue. I know it's an issue. I actually have asked this question before. We have a lawyer. They have used it. It's based on state statutes, and this is why I haven't delved into it more. But the question is coming up. I will be putting some time on this. Doesn't mean that I will be the one making the change. We have other people to convince here. So the idea is to set it very straight. And I'm not going to go into the details of what the plan is, but I don't think anyone has anything to worry about. But I am looking at this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, do you have anything you wanted to? Okay. Well, the day of the next council meeting is Monday, September 12th. Wow. 6 p.m. Day of the Board of Public Works meeting is also Monday, September 12th at 1 p.m. I would hereby entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We have a first, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Hey, Steve.